Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is meeting with dozens of senators on Capitol Hill today. President-elect Trump's pick to run the Department of Health and Human Services is looking to shore up support from lawmakers ahead of a possible confirmation hearing. Several of Trump's picks have faced criticism, including Kennedy, over their qualifications and potential plans for the departments they've been tapped to head, if confirmed. Earlier, Trump addressed some concerns about his choice for HHS secretary.
I think he's going to be much less radical than you would think. I think he's got a very open mind, or I wouldn't have put him there. He's going to be very much less radical. But there are problems. I mean, we don't do as well as a lot of other nations, and those nations use nothing. And we're going to find out what those problems are.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane is on the Hill with more. Scott, what are we expecting from RFK's meetings on Capitol Hill? And, I mean, to his point, there are a lot of lawmakers who have been sort of had split reactions to this. Some of his thoughts they agree with, some they're concerned about. Break that down for us.
Yeah, for better or worse, these meetings with RFK Jr. have been eagerly anticipated, both by his supporters and by his critics. He began this Monday with meetings set for late afternoon with some of Trump's most devoted allies in the Senate. Rick Scott of Florida, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, truly walking these hallways, doing what other nominees do, taking meetings, answering questions, and beginning with the senators of the president-elect's party. As the week continues, we'll see if this segues into RFK Jr. meeting with Democrats or more moderate senators who may have stiffer questions or be more explicit with their reservations about Kennedy's former statements, potentially his current positions on vaccines, the nexus between vaccines and autism, an alleged link that President-elect was asked about today and responded by saying we have very smart people who will look into this. Kennedy's detractors say he spreads misinformation, is an anti-vaxxer, and is a danger, especially if he's named the nation's top health official.
Right. I mean, scientists have been looking into vaccines, and the ones that are on the market right now are deemed to be safe, not only for public health, but also for the individuals. You know, Scott, there's so much going on in your world this week. I do want to break down a couple of other topics. There's a big deadline coming up at the end of the week. People might not be thinking about it as they're planning their holidays, but where do things stand in efforts to keep the government afloat?
By the time the evening begins tonight, we expect a full spending plan to be released by congressional leaders to explain how they're going to fund the government for the next few months into the beginning of the Trump administration, how they're going to avoid a government shutdown on Friday, yet another flirtation with the government shutdown in this particularly gridlocked Congress. What's more, Lindsay, we expect them to talk about how much money they're going to spend on disaster relief. There was money that was needed back in October for all those victims of Hurricane Helene, business owners, homeowners. That money has been stalled. Those people have gone without. They need it tomorrow. We could find out just how much money is included for a vote as early as Wednesday or Thursday.
I mean, they probably needed it yesterday, but that's a good point. All right, Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much.